According to the ancient Scandinavians, in the beginning of time there was no grass, no lakes, no sky, no land. There were only two places. To the north, a cold, desolate, dark world called Niflheim, and to the south, Muspelheim, a land of fire and heat so scorching that no creature could survive there unless they were born in it. And in the middle, there was Ginnungagap, a literal void of space and time. But after eons, something curious happened. From Niflheim, a great river began to flow. It traveled so far from its source that it reached the freezing void of Ginnungagap, and due to the sub-zero temperatures, it froze. And at the same time, sparks from Muspelheim flew into the void. When the ice met the heat, it melted, and from that melting water, a giant was formed. His name was Ymir, the being from whom, later on, Midgard, our planet, will be formed. Hey there, I'm Ralph and welcome to the Lore Chest, and today we're talking about the creation myth according to the ancient Norse. In these stories, it was common for creatures to form from the ice or fire of Niflheim or Muspelheim, but Ymir was unique because he formed in the void. But he wasn't alone. Shortly after he thawed, a cow named Atumla appeared from the melting ice. Thanks to her milk, Ymir was able to feed and survive, but the cow also needed food, which she found by licking a salty stone formed by the ice of Ginnungagap. After licking and licking for 3 straight days, a strange figure was revealed from the stone. This was the giant Buri, the ancestor of the gods. Buri had a son named Bor, and Bor had 3 other sons, Vili, Ve, and Odin. Once they became adults, Bor's 3 sons decided, for no apparent reason, to kill Ymir. This murder will be the reason why giants hate the gods forever. But the most important thing is what happened next. From Ymir's lifeless corpse, magic happened. Odin and his brothers dragged his body to the middle of Ginnungagap and tore it apart to create the world. His skin became the earth we walk on, his blood became the rivers, lakes and oceans, his teeth and bones became mountains and cliffs, his skull became the sky above us, his brain became the clouds, and his hair became the trees and plants of our world. And this is how Midgard, our earth, was born. Seeing this new world, Odin and his brothers took 2 wooden logs and shaped them into creatures, Ask and Embla, the first human beings. But they were just empty vessels. So to change that, Vili gave them reason and emotions, Odin gave them breath and life, and Ve gave them appearance and the 5 senses. But their almost perfect creations were in danger. Living on the corpse of a giant wasn't exactly safe, especially with other giants roaming around. So the sons of Bor, whom the humans now call gods, took Ymir's eyebrows and built a fence around Midgard, protecting it and separating it from the rest of the worlds. Okay, so far we have the world on the humans, but what about the sun and the moon? The old sagas tell a story about a man named Mundilfari, whom had 2 children, Sol and Mani. Mundilfari bragged that his children were the most beautiful beings in the universe, even more than their own gods. Odin and his brothers were not pleased with this arrogance, so they kidnapped the children and put them into chariots in the sky. Sol was forced to drive the chariot of the sun, and Mani the chariot of the moon. Quick side note, it is fascinating how language preserved this. In Old Norse, Sol is sun and Mani is moon. This influenced English directly. Sunday comes from the sun's day, Sol's day, and Monday comes from moon's day, Mani's day. And even so, in languages like Norwegian or Icelandic, nowadays it is still called Sondag and Mandag. But back to the story. Once in the chariots, the siblings might have refused to move, so Odin released 2 wolves to chase them. If the wolves caught them, they would be devoured. The wolf chasing the sun was Kol, and the one chasing the moon was Hati. This fear keeps the celestial bodies moving from time. But Midgard wasn't the only world created from Ymir's death. 7 other worlds were born, and all of them were connected by a single factor, Yggdrasil, the world tree. Let's start with Alfheim, the land of the light elves. These beings weren't gods or giants, but something in between. They were introverted and disliked being seen. As a matter of fact, Norse mythology only records the name of one of them, and it was Dane. Curiously, the king of this land isn't an elf, but the god of fertility Frey, who is originally from Vanaheim. And speaking of Vanaheim, this is the home of the Vanir gods. The Vanir were a different tribe of gods from the Aesir, although humans worship both. Vanaheim is a beautiful, fertile land. The father of Frey was Njord, master of the wind and the waves, and his sister was Freya, goddess of love, sexuality, and lust. Another side note, the Norse were very open about sexuality, unlike the Abrahamic religions. For example, a lot of myths tell the story of Thor cross-dressing as a bride and Odin shape-shifting into a woman to seduce a giantess. For better or worse, sexual fluidity was just another Tuesday for the ancient Scandinavians. But anyway, back to the story about the worlds, then we have Svartalfheim, the land of the Dark Elves, more commonly known as the Dwarves. This world is underground, beneath Midgard. The Dwarves were created from the maggots that ate Ymir's rotten flesh. A charming story, right? And after that we have Helheim, the Norse underworld. It is ruled by the giantess Hel. This is where souls go if they didn't die a glorious death. It is a cold, miserable place, and getting there involves a dark and difficult journey. Although we mentioned Niflheim at the start, it is worth noting that it also has a ruler, and it is the dragon Nidhogg. This creature eternally chews on the roots of Yggdrasil and on the corpse of the dead. Niflheim and Helheim are connected, and the worst souls of Midgard end up in a desolate part of them called Niflheim, where Nidhogg chews on them, giving them a second death. Many giants of Niflheim moved to a new, cold, desolate land called Jotunheim, the land of the Jotuns, the frost giants. They were aggressive and violent, but also ancient and wise. Here lies Mimir's well, and the legend says anyone who drinks from it gains infinite wisdom. Finally, the most important world for humanity is Asgard, or Godheim, the land of the Aesir. Located at the top of Yggdrasil, it is full of iconic places, including the Great Hall of Odin, Valhalla. Here, Viking warriors who die gloriously in battle meet Odin to fight, eat, and drink until the end of time. Already hearing all this, you might ask, what about the good people that weren't warriors? What about farmers, mothers, merchants? Do they go to hell? Well, no, they go to Vanaheim, to the Hall of Frey and Freya, Volksvanger, where they can have peaceful and dignified eternal rest. Having speak about all the worlds in the beginning of all this, Osiris told Odin and the Aesir that their ego and actions will eventually trigger a terrible end. This prophecy, the Voluspa, states that angered by Odin's arrogance, the Muspel sons, the fire giants from Muspelheim, have sworn revenge. Led by Surtur, who wields a giant flaming sword, they will lead a final battle called Ragnarok, and Surtur will defeat the Aesir and destroy all of Midgard. But the story of Ragnarok and the end of the world, it is for another day.
Thanks for watching this video. This is a new project that I'm very proud of, so if you want to keep watching our videos, we have some more that you can watch, and that will make me very happy. Maybe you notice it from my accent, but I'm not a native English speaker. This new project, The Lore Chest, is like a new son of my original channel, El Baúl de los Conocimientos Inútiles. And I'm taking a lot of the videos that I already made in Spanish and like giving it a refreshment, making it a little more actual, up to date, and also, well, trying it in English. It's something very interesting. I'm learning a lot. And well, starting anew is always a challenge. So if you want to help, you can subscribe, you can hit like, all that kind of stuff that old school YouTubers like myself always ask. But I think now it's like a little bit nostalgic, so you can do it again as well, sorry. And that's it. And thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again very soon.